Good afternoon. Today is the 6th of October, although it'll probably be the 8th of October when you see this, and it's time to look at the top 10 best-selling cars for September 2020. I know some of you really enjoy this monthly instalment of automotive hijinks and general japery. So for those of you who are new to this series of videos, if you want to see the past 18 months or so when I've looked at these statistics, you can go onto the general motoring topics playlist on my YouTube channel and you'll see one for virtually every single month that we've been going, which is interesting. So we're looking at registrations. The data comes from the Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders, and it's given every month. We're just looking today at the difference between September 2019 and September 2020. When I say sales or best selling, I actually am referring to registrations, because that's the way that the SMMT record the figures. So if I say, for example, that a certain manufacturer has had a 20% increase, that means compared with September 2019, September 2020, they experienced a 20% increase in registrations. And that goes for when we're looking at the number of private cars sold, number of fleet cars sold, different fuel types, whatever. That's the statistics that we're using, just to get that out of the way. I know a lot of you are new to the channel, which is absolutely brilliant, but I just want to get that information out of the way, as I always have to do before we start. So September 2020 wasn't quite the month that a lot of motor manufacturers and traders were hoping it was going to be, because the change in registrations overall was down 4.4%. A lot of this came from decreased demand in the business sector. It's not a huge thing actually in this country compared with the private and fleet sectors, but it was still down 32%, and there were about 8,000 cars sold last month. They only make up 2.3 of the market share now. They used to make up a lot more. Last year, for example, it's 3.2%. Private sector has been a 1.1% change. Obviously, a lot of the cars are sold to private motorists now. That's 49% of the market share. Last year it was 47.6%. So it is an increase. Actually, fleet, that was 49.2% of the market share last year, and now it's 48.5%. So actually the roles have been reversed, and that's 5.8% down. So whatever figure I'm saying, just bear in mind that the context is of a 4.4% decrease. Anything above a 4.4% decrease is good, and that'll be particularly relevant when we look at the individual brands a bit later on. So no change in terms of diesel, still a fuel that's going to be probably a minority thing soon. That's one of the reasons why we don't talk about diesels on the channel. There are applications like pickup trucks, large off-roaders, and people who do very high mileage that diesel can work out really well. But for the majority of motorists now, particularly because of taxation laws are changing for company cars and road tax, it's becoming less of a choice that people are making, and indeed it's a 38.4% decrease between September 2019 and September 2020. With petrol, that's also a decrease, about 21%. The market share of that is 54% now. Well, it was 65%. Diesel, it was 22.2%. It's now 14.3%. Battery electric vehicles, that's things like the MG ZSEV, Teslas, the Kia e-Niro, things like that. They have had a massive increase. In fact, all cars with forms of electrification have had a massive increase over the last month. It's just a trend that's been going on for a long time now. That is a 184.3% increase, about 12,400 cars sold. The market share of those is now 6.7, sorry, not 12,000, 22,000 cars sold last month that were fully electric. That's a market share of about 7%, when last year it was 2.2. Big increase. Plug-in hybrids, things like the Vauxhall Grandland X plug-in hybrid, about 12,400 cars sold last month. Market percentage increase is 139%. Market share was 1.5% last year, and now it's about 4%. Hybrid electric vehicles, that'd be things like the Toyota Corolla, the Hyundai Ioniq hybrid. There's also a plug-in hybrid of the Hyundai and a fully electric one, but there is a hybrid version of that. That is a 56% change, very big change, and 26,000 cars sold. The market share is now 8%. It was 4.9% last year. Mild hybrid diesel, the example I always use for this is the Kia Sportage diesel. That is a diesel with a little electric motor to help boost the economy and some performance. Audi's also sometimes use this system too. That is, again, a big increase, 66.4% increase. 4.1% market share, was 2.4%, and about 13,500 cars sold. Multi-hybrid petrol, this is actually the second biggest market share behind petrol and diesel now. It's 30,000 cars or thereabouts. This is stuff like all the Suzukis are now mild hybrids. The new Golf Mark 8, a lot of those are mild hybrids. You just can't get away from them really. And the percentage change is 422% increase, which is astonishing. That was a market share of 1.7% last year. It's now 9.3%. Let's go on to looking at the top 10 best-selling cars of last month. Not the Fiesta in first place last month, although it was for a long time. It's actually the Corsa, the new Corsa E, or rather the Corsa E standard petrol and diesel, and of course the Corsa E electric car, but the Corsa E is just for designation to differentiate this from a previous Corsa. It's called the Corsa D because the first Corsa was also called Vauxhall Nova in this country is known as the Corsa A. Very confusing. Anyway, so the Corsa, first place, 10,553 sales. Second place, the Ford Fiesta, 9,554. I don't know why the Corsa did pretty well last month, but there we go. Mercedes-Benz A-Class, must have been a very good deal on A-Classes last month. Third place, 8,085. Fourth, Volkswagen Polo, it's a lot higher than it normally is actually, 7,417. Next for Golf, probably it'll be a bit higher of a chart. Next, the Mark 8 is still coming onto the market, really, it's taking a little while. 6,788. Next, Nissan Qashqai, again, not really a surprise. I'm surprised, though, it does sell so well, considering how old the model is. It came out in 2013, this generation of Qashqai. 6,572. Next to Ford Puma, that's not been on the market very long at all actually. That's done very well, 6,341. Next to Mini, always very popular in this country, in 8th place, 6,213. And then the surprise for me of all of this is the XC40 Volvo. I think the Recharge version of that is a fully electric car. That is 5,653. And then the Ford Focus, which used to be right at near the top, but now is only in 10th place, 5,625 behind the Volvo XC40. Now let's look at the percentage change by brand. So these are the number of registrations in terms of percentage that has actually changed within the overall market share. So we'll start off with Abarth, because we always do. Abarth last month sold 578 cars. That is a market share of 0.19%, and it is a 13% decrease. Alfa Romeo, they sold, or registered I should say, but if I keep saying sold, it's just easier. They sold 331 cars, which is a 0.1% of the market share, and an overall change of minus 34%. Alpine, they sold pretty much the same as last time, sold only 10 cars, it's not that relevant. Audi, very good month last month, They sold 22,000 cars at 6.7% market share. And that is huge. It's a 72% increase. Bentley, they sold 263 cars. Doesn't sound like a lot, but that is still a 72% increase on last year, and a market share of 0.08%. BMW, not such a good month in comparison with Audi. Just over 21,000 sales, 6.5% market share, and an overall decrease of 24% in comparison with last year. Citroën, they sold just under 5,500 cars. It's a 1.7% market share, and that is a decrease of about 20%. Dacia, a very good month. Sold almost as many cars as Citroën actually, about 5,300. It's a 1.6% market share, and it's a 22.4% increase. DS, like Citroën, another decrease, about 500 cars sold last month, 0.14% of the market, and a 15% decrease. Fiat actually sold fewer cars than Citroën. It's an 8% decrease, 1.34% market share, and just under 4,400 cars. Ford, as always, is the biggest. They sold 28,250 cars. It's an 8.6% market share, but still a decrease of 13%. Honda, it's the first increase I've seen with Honda for a long time, actually. That's very good. They sold just under 6,000 cars. It's a 1.8% market share, and there's an increase of 7.5%. Hyundai, it's 11,700 cars sold, 3.6% market share. Although it's not as good as Kia, it's still pretty good, but the overall change was minus 19%. Jaguar sold just over 4,000 cars, 1.22% market share, and a decrease of 34%. Jeep, traditionally in this market, it's Fiat Chrysler's strongest brand actually. 840 cars sold, 0.26% market share, 8.22% increase. Very good. Kia, not as bad as a month as Hyundai. Generally, Kias are more popular in this country than Hyundai for some reason, probably due to the length of the warranty. 15,000 cars sold, 4.5% market share, 9% decrease. Land Rover, about 11,500 cars sold, a 3.5% market share, which is a little bit below Kia, but it's not too bad. That's a 10.5% decrease. Lexus, 3,700 cars sold, 1.13% market share, and an overall trend down of 4.13%, but that's still better than average. Maserati, 77 cars sold, 0.02% market share, 19% decrease. Mazda, 6,000 cars sold, 1.86% of the market share, and that's a 19.5% decrease over last year. Mercedes-Benz, a lot of cars sold, 23,500, 7.17% market share, still not as good as Ford though, a 22.6% market share. MG, hardly a surprise given the last few months, performing really well. 3,700 cars sold, 1.12% market share, and a 170% increase. A 170% increase. It's remarkable. Mini, 9,000 cars sold, 2.77% market share, and a overall decrease of 28.3%. Mitsubishi, as we know, they're pulling out of the market entirely soon, which is a real shame, but they had a 38.4% decrease. It's just over 1,200 cars sold and a 0.38% market share. Nissan, 14,600 cars sold, 4.5% market share, and an increase of 6.22%. They haven't been performing so well recently, so that's very good. Peugeot again performing quite strongly. That might be due to a new 208 that's come out recently. 10,500 cars sold, 3.2% market share, and a drop of 3.7%. Polestar is a new entry. I'm going to skip over that because there's no figures to compare it with last year. Porsche, 12% decrease, 1,600 cars sold and a 0.48% market share. Renault, 10,500 cars sold, 3.2% market share, down by 12%. Seat, for some reason, have the opposite sort of figures that Skoda do. I don't know why. Who knows? Maybe when the new Leon comes on tap, that'll be better. 7,100 cars sold, 2.18% market share, and down by 13%. Skoda, by contrast, 10,900 cars sold, 3.32% market share. That's stronger than Peugeot actually, and an 18.4% increase. Smart. Now this is interesting because they're pretty much a new brand now because they've gone all electric. 320 cars sold, 0.1% market share, and an increase of 154%. That's very good. SsangYong, not quite the figures I was expecting to see from them, considering they've just launched the new Tivoli and other models recently. But nevertheless, a 1% decrease, 0.12% of the market share, and 391 cars sold. Subaru, quite a small player in our market. 272 cars sold, 0.08% market share, and a 48% decrease. They need some new engine technology, really, despite the boxes they've introduced, which don't seem to affect sales particularly, unfortunately, with them. Suzuki, all their range is pretty much mild hybrid now, I believe. They sold 5,400 cars last month. It's a 1.65% market share. It's not too bad, and a 42% increase. Excellent. Toyota, similarly, an increase. Sold just under 20,000 cars, 6% market share, and that is a 10% increase. Vauxhall, for some reason, nowhere as good as Toyota. 19,600 cars sold, close but not quite close enough. 5.98% market share, and down by 28.4%. Volkswagen, absolutely storm performance, way better than last year. 27,300 cars sold, 8.3% market share, almost as much as Ford, and 39% increase. That's it's very, very good. It's very good indeed. Just double check against Ford again. Ford 8.6. Yes, almost as much. Very close to Ford's market share. Volvo, another increase. 9,100 cars sold. 4% increase and a 2.8% market share. Other imports, this is mainly Tesla, because the SMMT don't count Tesla as its own make for reasons I don't really understand. 5,800 cars sold and a 58.5% increase. Yes, with the Teslas, people sort of ask me why I don't include them. I just have. That's as much as information as I can give you on them. So overall, it is a drop of 4.43%. So there we are, viewers. That was the top 10 best-selling cars of September 2020. I know these videos are a bit long, but I'd like to go into the depth and give as much non-penetrating market analysis as I can. Sorry if it's a bit boring, but some people really like these sort of videos. I find them fascinating personally. But anyway, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more, possibly something a bit different tomorrow with more no budget reviews. Don't forget to like this video and to leave a comment below. I've got a Facebook page, facebook.com/Lloyd Vehicle Consulting, and also Instagram, instagram.com/ Instagram.com/Lloyd_Vehicle_Consulting. Thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching.